Hi friends, welcome to Taming Python tutorial series. In this video, we're going to talk about datetime module in Python. Alright, why do we require a module for manipulating date times? Datetime arithmetic and manipulating datetime is not so straightforward. So it's a bit tough. So it's better to use libraries like datetime to manipulate date times. Okay, so we are going to talk about a inbuilt module in Python which is called datetime module. Okay, through datetime module you can get a datetime object and you can set your datetime as a datetime object. Okay, so let's get started with the demo so that we can understand the datetime module better. Okay, so now let's take a blank folder. This is my blank folder and I'm going to open it with Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to just right click and open with code. Yeah, my VS Code is open. Now I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to just name it as index.py. Alright, my new file is open and now I'm going to use Jupyter cells feature of the VS Code. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to write hashtag and 2% so that I can get it as a cell. So this is a feature in Visual Studio Code. And now I'm going to import the datetime module first. Import datetime as dt. I'm going to import as a dt because I don't want to write datetime all the time, right? So that's why I'm doing it. So let me try to run this cell first. Jupyter notebook has just initialized. Okay, so first let's try to create a datetime object. Okay, and let's try to get the current time. Okay, so how can I do that? It's pretty straightforward. So let me create a variable called current time equal to dt dot datetime dot now. That's all. So now current time is a variable where you will get the current time. So let's try to run this. I'll just run this cell. Now you can see I'll just debug what I just want to see what's current time. You can see current time is the date time. So now this is the current time where I'm recording this. Okay, so you can even see what's the type of this variable. So if I just write type of current time, you can see it's datetime dot datetime. So it is a class named datetime inside the datetime module. Okay, yeah, so now I just created a current time. So if you want to create a datetime object for a particular time, so let's try to do that. T1, I'll create a variable T1. I'll just write dt dot datetime, and here I've got a great documentation support here. I can see that year, month, day, hour and all. I can do like that. So suppose if you want to create a date called 10th December 2020, I'll just write 2020, December is 12 and 10th date comma 10. So year, month and day. Okay, so now I created a datetime object which is 10th December 2020 00 hours. So let's try to run this. So let me see what's T1. You can see it's 10th December 2020 00 hours. So if you want to create a date time, even I want to say hours, minutes and seconds also. I'll just write T2 equal to dt dot datetime of, suppose I want to give 16th November 2020 morning 6 o'clock. So if I want to do 2020 November 6th, it's morning 9 o'clock. Suppose 9 hours is 9:15 if I want to say minutes, and 9:15 55 seconds. So you can create a datetime which is you can even go till the seconds thing. So let's try to run this. You can see T2 is created. Let me see what is there in T2. It's 2020 11/6, that means 6th November 9:15 55 seconds. So this is the datetime object. Okay, so now one more thing. If I want to create datetime from a Unix epoch timestamp, so suppose if I have a number like this, T3 equal to dt dot datetime of datetime dot from timestamp. So these, if you go these many seconds after January 1st 1970 UTC, then this is the date. So let me see what is T3. Let me see T3. Yeah, T3 is 10th May 2020 5:30 AM. So this was T3. So this date, if you express in Unix epoch timestamp, this would be the timestamp. So you can even create a date time from a Unix epoch timestamp. So I'll just write here. So this is how we can create a datetime from Unix epoch timestamp. So let's rewind. How can we create datetime? I've given three options. One was to get the current time as datetime object, and one was to mention all the components of the datetime so that you can build a datetime object out of it, and you can even build a datetime object out of a Unix epoch timestamp. How can you get this Unix epoch timestamp? Suppose current time is current time is 16th December 2138, right? So if you want to get the Unix epoch timestamp out of it, I can just write current timestamp equal to dt dot datetime dot timestamp of current time. Okay, so if you run this, I'll just see what's the current timestamp. So this is the Unix epoch seconds. This is how you can get a Unix epoch timestamp from a datetime object. So the next topic is how to get a datetime from a string. Okay, so suppose I'll just show you the problem. Suppose the string is something like that, string 1 equal to, so this is basically 10th May 2020, but this is a string. I want to make it as a datetime object. So how can I do that is, I will just using the strip time or else string parse time. So generally people call it strip time, to convert string into datetime. Okay, so how can I do that? It's pretty simple. I'll just create a datetime dt1. Let me try to get dt1 equal to dt dot datetime dot strip time. Give your time string, it was str1, and then give me the format. So what's the format? The format was year 4 letters and month, which was 2 letters, and date. So this was the format string. This is the format string of this datetime format. So stay tuned, I will tell you how to understand this format string, but just now let's try to construct the time object dt1. So you can see I got the dt1 correctly, 2020 510 2020 510. But the thing was, how did I write this? Okay, so there is a reference on how the format of a datetime should be. Okay, so here the datetime format was the 4 numbered year and the 2 numbered month and the 2 numbered day, and there was dash in between, right? So this is how I have written the format. But what is capital Y? You can see here. So if you have 4 digit here, you have to use capital Y. So I'll show you where was the month. So if you have a 2 digit month, 0 padded, then this is the format you used, month. Okay, so percentage small m. The format which we used was this one, 0 padded day. This was that percentage d. So our format was percentage y, percentage m, percentage d. So this is how you have to figure out which format your date is. This image I have kept in the blog post, and you will find the link of the blog post in the description, so don't worry. You can refer this image to understand what format your datetime string is to be parsed. Okay, so this is one very important method, strip time. So using strip time, you can parse a string into a datetime object. In my example, I have parsed a string called str1 into a datetime object called dt1. You can even verify, type of dt1, it's datetime, and type of str1 was obviously string because I kept it under single quotes, right? Okay, so this was strip time. In the same way, you can format a datetime as you wish using this format code. So suppose if I have a datetime dt1, I will just create another datetime. Like otherwise, I have a datetime current time, right? So current time is my datetime. I'll just show you. We just created the datetime at the beginning, just current time, but I don't want to display it like this. I want to display it some other way. So I'll just decide a format first. I'll just write display format. I want to display it like this. So how can I do that? I'll just use the strf time method, which is the string format time method. So how can I do that? string2 equal to dt dot datetime dot strf time. So give the datetime object. So datetime object was current time, and the format which I required was display format. I can even write it like this. I can just I don't need to have variable also. I can just do it like this. The format which I wanted to print it out is like this. So let me run this cell and I will show you string2. I've got the format. So if I want to show the hours, minutes and second also, I'll just write percentage h, percentage m, percentage s. So let me show you how it goes out. Yeah, so this is the complete timestamp. So how did I write this thing again? So I know because I use it. Capital H means 0 padded hours, capital M means 0 padded minutes, and capital S means 0 padded seconds. And if you don't know that, you just don't need to worry. You just can refer this. You can see, I'll just show you. Capital H means 24 hours format of hours, and then capital M means 24 hours minute, 0 padded minutes, and capital S means 0 padded seconds. So you can refer this list of format strings, so that, and you can control how you can print or how you can parse your datetime into strings. So this strf time and strip time, these two are really important functions which you got to understand in datetime. So that you can convert from string to datetime and datetime to string and vice versa, right? That's what we did. dt.datetime.strf time, give a datetime object and you specify the format string, and then you'll get it as a string. You can see it here, right? So I've got a datetime, so I'll just show you a datetime. We were using a datetime object called current time, right? So if you want to get only the date component of this current time, how can I do that? It's really simple. I'll show you. X equal to current time dot just write day. Okay, so let me run this and let me see x is 16, right? So if you want to get the month component, I'll just write month, current time dot month. So then I'll get x as a month. I'll just show you. Run this. So x was 12, right? 12. And if I want to get the year, I'll just write current time dot year and I'll see x is the year component, right? 2020. And then if I want to get the hours, I'll just write hour c, oh sorry, 21. If I want to get the minutes, minute, you'll get the minutes component of the datetime, and you can get the seconds component also. I'll just show you. X is 54, right? And you can even get the microseconds component. So the current the time when I ran this function, current time equal to dt.datetime.now, what was the microseconds component? Let me see. It was 165620. This was the microseconds component of the time when I ran that dt.datetime method. Okay, so this is how to use a datetime object in Python. Let us summarize what we have learned in this session. So the first thing is you have to import datetime module as dt, import datetime as dt. You have to do this first thing, and then if you want to get the current time as a datetime object, you just write dt.datetime.now, and you can store it in any variable. In my case, I stored it in a variable called current time. And then if you want to create a datetime object for a particular time, you just write dt.datetime dot and you just write the components here, year, month, date. And if you want to go deep, you can write year, month, date, hours, minutes and seconds. And this should be 24 hours. Suppose if you want to write 9 p.m., you have to write 21 here, because the 24 hours component of 9 p.m. is 12 plus 9, 21, right? And then if you want to create a date time from a Unix timestamp, you just write dt.datetime.from timestamp and you just write the Unix timestamp here, and you will get a datetime object out of it. And then if you want to convert a datetime into a timestamp number like this, just write dt.datetime.timestamp, and then the datetime object will be converted into a Unix epoch timestamp. And the timestamp, by the way, is number of seconds from the Unix epoch. Unix epoch means January 1st, 1970 UTC. Okay, and the next important function which we learned was strip time, which converts a string into a datetime object. So while conversion, you have to specify what was the format string of that string. So the format string of this variable str1 was year, month, and date. So that's why I have written %y, %m, %d, and using strf time to format a datetime object as a string. So what I did was I formatted a datetime object into a string like this. So string2 equal to dtr.datetime. I got the datetime object, and I have written the, and I have given the second argument as a format string, right? So you can even access the datetime components using the dot method, and you can get whatever the component of the datetime, like date, month, year, seconds, hours. And you can do you can control the formatting of your datetime using this string. So if I write in case of in place of small m, if I write b, I can get the month name. I'll just run this and show you. I'll just show you str2. You can see I got December. So this way you can have a lot of control on your string formatting using this format codes. So be sure to go through these format codes so that you can get to know what are the possibilities, right? So yeah, that's it. So this was about the Python's inbuilt datetime module, and it's very important. If you want to use datetime or timestamps in your Python programs, be sure that you use this module. It's very handy and it's very powerful. I've written a blog post on this topic, so be sure to check it out. Check out the link of this blog post in the description of this video. Thank you for watching.